cold open, the vanishing point. Whispers in the forest. Footsteps fading. Names slipping from memory. This is the Bennington Triangle, a place where the world seems to shift, where reality and legend blur, and the only certainty is the unknown. In the heart of Vermont, there's a place where people vanish without a trace, leaving behind only questions and a lingering sense of dread. This isn't just a forest. It's a place that hungers. Welcome to the Triangle, a strange stretch of land running from Glastonbury Mountain to the town of Bennington, Vermont. At first glance, it looks calm, even peaceful, but between 1945 and 1950, 5 people vanished here. These weren't just disappearances. They were acts of vanishing, the kind that defy reason, challenge logic, and break the very laws of nature. Glastonbury Mountain, once home to a thriving town, was abandoned in the 1920s. Some say the land itself drove people away. All that remains is the forest and the stories that followed. Locals whisper about strange occurrences, unseen forces, shadows that move between the trees, as if the woods are watching, waiting, and when the forest calls, not everyone finds their way back. Case 1. Mitty Rivers, the guide who vanished. Mitty Rivers was a man of the woods, a local legend. He knew the trails at the base of Glastonbury Mountain better than anyone. When hunters went into the forest, they called him. He could read nature like a book. By the rustle of leaves, he could tell if it was a deer or a man. On November 12, 1945, he led a group into the mountains. The sky was low, the earth slick with rain. He walked ahead, confident, like a man returning home. And then he was gone. The others were just minutes behind. No voice, no footprints, no gun. Search teams came the next day. Dogs, hunters, volunteers. They found a single rifle cartridge near a stream. No blood, no torn clothing, no body. He vanished in the very woods where he'd once found lost travelers. The same woods where he once warned, "Don't go in, without me." And now, even with him missing, no one could find him. Case 2. Paula Weldon, the disappearance that shook a state. Paula Weldon was a college freshman at Bennington College, a bright young woman with a dream of becoming an illustrator. She often wandered the hills, sketching trees, writing in her journal. On December 1st, 1946, the day was cool but clear. She put on a red coat, bright, unmistakable, and told her roommate she needed a walk. She was last seen near the entrance to the long trail, a hiking path stretching the length of Vermont. The final person to see her was a man walking with his son. She turned around a bend, he later said, and then she was just gone. We thought she'd sped up. But when night fell, Paula never returned. The search was massive. Police, the military, forest rangers, hundreds of volunteers, even psychics. Planes scoured the forest. Loudspeakers echoed through the trees. Rewards were offered. Nothing. No sign. She vanished without a trace. Her case shocked the state so deeply, it led to the creation of the Vermont State Police. Before Paula, there was no official state police force at all. Case 3. James Tedford, the man who vanished from a moving bus. James Tedford was a World War II veteran, living in a Bennington nursing home after his wife passed. On December 1st, 1949, he boarded a bus returning from St. Albans after visiting family. He was seen on board sitting by the window watching the forests roll by. One passenger remembered. He looked, lost in thought, like the woods were calling him. When the bus reached Bennington, his seat was empty, but his luggage was there. his coat, his bus ticket. The driver swore no stops were made. No one saw him stand up. No footsteps. No voice. He had vanished mid-ride. It was the first case where the disappearance didn't happen in the wild, but in a sealed, moving vehicle, and somehow that made it even more unsettling. Case 4. Paul Jepson, the boy in the red jacket. October 12, 1950. Paul Jepson was 8 years old, curious, playful, always singing. His mother worked at the town dump near Glastonbury's base, and often took him along. That day, she left him in the truck for just 45 minutes. When she returned, he was gone. He wore a bright red jacket, impossible to miss, but he had disappeared completely. Search dogs picked up a trail leading toward the hills, and then it stopped, abruptly, on flat ground. His mother later said he was drawn to those woods. He'd say something was calling him, and people remembered Paula Weldon had vanished in the same area. Coincidence, or something more? Paul was never found. Not a shred of clothing, not a single clue, only a forest, quiet again, and full of secrets. Case 5. Frida Langer, the body that came back. Frida Langer was tough, an experienced hiker who knew how to survive in the wild. In October 1950, she was out hiking with her cousin. She slipped, soaked her boots, and told him, "I'll run back to camp to change." It was a short walk. She never returned. They searched that afternoon, then for days, then weeks. Army units scoured the land. Dogs, helicopters, searchlights, everything. Nothing. And then 7 months later, her body appeared in an open clearing, a place that had been searched multiple times. She hadn't been hidden, not buried, just there, too decomposed to determine cause of death. But the real question, how did she get there? Where had she been? And why was she the only one to come back? Closing. 5 gone, none returned. 5 disappearances. 5 lives, gone without reason. Different people, different paths, but one thing in common. Place, Glastonbury Mountain. The trail, the darkness, the Bennington Triangle, where people vanish and never return. Theories. What really happened? 5 people, 5 unsolved disappearances, all in one small region. Coincidence? Or something more? Serial killer? Some believe a single person was behind it all. But the ages don't align. The methods don't align. A child, a war veteran, a college girl, a guide, a hiker. Too different, too spaced out. No patterns, no bodies, no suspects, no confessions. Strange weather or terrain. Vermont's forests can be treacherous. Sudden fogs, deep ravines, hidden caves. People can get lost. But what about Paula in a red coat? Or James vanishing inside a moving bus? Local legends, the curse of Glastonbury. Long before these vanishings, the native Abenaki people avoided Glastonbury Mountain. They called it cursed, said the land was unbalanced, that something was wrong here. Even hunters avoided the peak, claiming it was bad medicine. There's a legend of a rock that swallows people. Step on it and you're gone. No trace. Old ghost stories? Or ancient warnings? Dimensional rift? Some say the Bennington Triangle is like the Bermuda Triangle, a place where reality thins, where dimensions brush against one another, where one wrong step could mean slipping into a different world. Could these people still be out there, just not in our world anymore? Epilogue. Still missing. The trees haven't changed. The winds still howl across the peaks of Glastonbury. The trails remain open, and every year, hikers walk them unaware of what once happened here. But locals remember. They speak softly about the triangle. They say the forest doesn't forget, that the land keeps its secrets, And when the mist settles low, when the last light fades, you might hear it, a footstep, a whisper, a name long forgotten, final whisper. Paula, Mitty, James, Paul, Frida, they never left. They were taken.